So hey everyone, how you doing? First video in quite a long time, and I thought that I would probably start off with a bit of an unboxing. As you'll have seen from the previous video, all of this stuff now that I'm about to kind of show you is going to be fitted to the Vegast. There's plenty of videos that I've done on that in the past, so feel free to go back and watch those. But kind of, I guess I covered a bit of the story in that other video really. But one thing that I found is, so I was actually looking for this chain set for reviews, trying to find out kind of a little bit about it. I've got quite a bit of experience with rotor chain sets and chain rings, but this, I guess, kind of because I haven't been in the market for a chain set for a while, and to be honest, as I've mentioned in the other video, I was just kind of getting on with sort of cycling and you know, one or two of the issues that I've had. So when it came to actually looking for you know, an upgrade, I couldn't really find too many reviews. There was kind of a lot of the sort of you know, mainstream press, you know, certainly in the cycling world, who had done kind of quick look videos, talked quite a lot about the stats and things like that, which is all fine. It's all stuff that you can find kind of on the website. So I thought today what I'll do is actually run through what's going to be fitted to the bike, take a quick look kind of how they come. I think all in, probably worth mentioning, because anybody who's seen my videos in the past, I do tend to kind of mess up on one or two things, particularly when it comes to how much things are. I think it's probably safe to say that one or two of you have kind of gone out in the past thinking you were going to get a bargain and then kind of found it's another 30 or 50 pounds more than perhaps I remember what I actually paid for it. But anyway, enough of the waffle. So I've ordered a complete chain set. So that's the crank arms, the spindle, the spider and the rings. And it's actually quite interesting really how all of this comes, because just to give you a look at the first thing, it basically comes like a Meccano set. And I think kind of the key thing that Rotor called out in terms of benefits for this, and the reason why you can kind of build up different parts together, essentially is because of the power meter, in that they're saying that it's road and mountain bike compatible. I'm not actually going to build this up myself, but when I speak to the mechanic who is going to kind of build it for me and actually fit it to the bike, I'll kind of get his thoughts really as to how easy it is. I mean, for me, would I really want to be, you know, sort of planning that far ahead and thinking, am I going to be going out on my mountain bike or my road bike? I guess there's certain times, particularly if it's organised, then, you know, you're going to know, you are going to know in advance, but I'm not sure it's really something that I would want to get into. One thing I will do as well, so I've given you sort of the headline price, or I think I have. If I haven't, then I'll repeat it. So I think I've paid around about $11.50 for this. I'll find the paperwork, because yeah, from what I've just said, don't kind of want to send people off on a bit of a tangent. I think it was around yeah, $11.50, give or take maybe 20 quid here and there. So first thing, what you get in the box when you order the complete set. So the crank arms, and these are actually carbon as well, which I didn't necessarily realise in advance. It's not a big deal for me. I'm quite happy to have carbon cranks. I've had them in the past, but I guess just from the last sort of 2 or 3 rotor chain sets that I've had, they've always been aluminium. Never really thought anything of it. And to be honest, when I was ordering this on the website, it said carbon, but I just thought that that was the colour. I just thought that that's what they were calling, you know, this sort of black as it comes really. So I'll just take one of these out. They do actually have this clear laminate on them as well, which may or may not come out. That's factory fitted. So we'll see how that stands up. I guess it's just to kind of protect really, sort of in and around this area. It's maybe a little bit high for a shoe, certainly on what I guess that is the left side, because it's got the preload on it, but nice and light, pretty, you know, pretty basic finish, which is ultimately, you know, what I was looking for. The rotor chain set, which I have on at the moment, which I might include in this just so you can see what I'm taking off and then actually replacing with, in case you don't see the other video. There's kind of a few more graphics and things like that, more cutouts, I guess probably because it's aluminium. So yeah, first thing you get, I'm making a right dog's dinner of that, I'll sort that out later. But yeah, crank arms, gotta hold that So nice and light, nice design. Next thing, which is optional, is this kind of Aero mast, which ultimately fits kind of between the chain rings and the actual spider itself, where the Q rings or round rings, whichever you choose. So Rotor obviously do both. That kind of fits really in between, so I guess it's just going to have that sort of cleaner look, because you'll see from the outside of it, hopefully it comes through. I'm deliberately not taking things out because there's kind of, you know, bolts and things like that. I don't want anything to be missing when it goes to the shop. But there's no kind of bolts or anything on the outside of this, so it's going to basically mean that it has a very nice clean look. Yeah, it's extra weight, but I mean, considering the bike that I'm fitting it to, really isn't the end of the world. Next thing is the axle. So I've gone for the 30mm axle, basically because of the bike that I'm actually going to be fitting this to. It does come in 24 as well. I've always just had 30s, I think probably driven by the type of bikes that I've had, and because I've always had Rotor 30mm chain sets, I just decided to go for the same. Really just, I guess, to cut down on kind of a bottom bracket change as well. So haven't actually opened that, but hopefully you can see from this picture, it's pretty basic. Guess just a straight piece of metal with kind of the different splines on it, so shan't bother opening that one up. Probably get now to another thing as well, which is optional to order. I'm not sure how much this is. I know that I need this though. So there's a couple of seals in there, so I should probably tell you what this is. This is the BB30 adapter. So you get kind of the 2 cups, couple of seals or washers. Nice and simple, but yeah, I know that I need that. I do have one already fitted to the bike, but I thought, considering I'm having a new chain set, I might as well just get new spacers and washers. Probably the most important thing with this is the power meter. So all of the power meters that I've ever had, they've always been crank based, or crank arm based I should say, so I've never had pedals. I've used stages. I still have a stages, actually it's not fitted to a bike at the moment, but Rotor, you know, I've had the left side only, and I've had the in fact still have, I'm looking at it right now, I've still got a twin power as well. So the chain set I'm removing is an InPower, which is just the left leg only, and I have seen, as expected, but I have seen a difference really between the twin power that I have, so that's left and right leg versus just the left. So this is going to be quite interesting, because this technically is neither, in that it's a spider based, or yeah, a spider based power meter, so not really an awful lot to look at, because obviously everything's included inside. It feels actually quite light. Again, weight's not really a big thing for me, but it does feel quite nice and light. Comes in this lovely packaging. So yeah, just has a thing there inside just to stop it from rattling around, and otherwise exactly what you'd expect to get, kind of the training manual. I think there's access there to yeah, just kind of a flyer that's showing you or telling you where you can download the app from, the usual stuff to be able to sync. I guess also the other big difference with this for me versus the InPower that I have at the moment, the InPower is amp plus only, whereas the twin power that I have is amp plus and Bluetooth. When I'm kind of out and about, I would generally steer toward amp plus, just simply because that's how I kind of have all of the sensors and stuff set up. So just try and keep it clean, and I guess just use one type of sort of frequency. I can't think actually what the word is, but anyway, you guys obviously know what I'm talking about. But because, well, just over the last couple of months really, as I've started to use Zwift, so that's kind of one thing which I don't have an amp plus adapter for. You know, so I use Apple TV, which obviously I can sync through Bluetooth. So that was another reason that I actually wanted that. Sorry, I digress. The other thing that you get inside, charge cable, which I will just show you this. I have had this out already. Probably one of the call outs with this and one of the differences with the InSpider versus the Twin Power. The Twin Power actually uses a very similar charging method in case that it basically has this sort of magnetic pin. Hopefully this comes through okay. On the Twin Power, there's actually a cover that goes over this. It's not the best cover in the world, in the sense that when you actually kind of prise it open and then twist it round, it's got quite a hard plastic, or like a hard rubber on it, and if that's cold when you undo it, it's kind of brittle. So when I actually first opened this, my concern is that actually the charge port is exposed, which I hadn't really thought about kind of too much, to be honest. And the first thing that I actually did was kind of look to see where the cover was for it. But actually on closer inspection, you can see there isn't actually anywhere for a cover to mount. So that is how it comes. But then in terms of the charging, it's just a normal USB, as you can see, basically just snaps on. I assume it probably flashes different colors when it's charging, but I haven't actually tested that. Certainly the Twin Power does that. So that's pretty much what's included in the box there. Just pack that up a little whilst I then move on to the next and final thing. So anybody who's seen any of my videos, subscribe to the channel, you'll know that pretty much all of my bikes I run Q-rings. So I've decided to do exactly the same again. I'll just pull one of these out. So I went for 5236 again because of the bike really that I'm fitting these to. I've got compact on another one of my bikes, but considering really what I'm going to be using this for, I wanted a kind of bigger chain ring without going to the full kind of 5339 setup. So apparently, and this is where I'm a little bit out of touch, but apparently the new Rotor Q rings are somewhere between I guess the original Q rings and the QXLs. So as you'll have seen, again going back to old videos that I've put on the channel before, on all of my bikes I have the QXLs. So I haven't actually offered this up. I'll probably do that actually in a minute. I will move myself and just offer this up to a QXL. It does look to me, it's kind of difficult to tell when it's, you know, just up away. I mean, you can tell that it isn't round, I think is probably the standout thing. But yeah, I'm just going to offer it up. What I was saying was, just at kind of first glance to me, it doesn't seem too far off the QXLs, but I will move myself now just before we wrap this up and just see how it compares, just in case anybody else is thinking about changing and they're not too sure whether or not they want to kind of lose kind of how oval the chainring is. Okay, right, let's see how easy we can do this. Because I stopped posting, I now no longer have a camera and a tripod. Certainly not the same tripod anyway. So, okay, I don't want to get this too close because that's mucky, hence it's going to the shop. But let's try and place this. Also, another thing, 4-bolt, whereas this is 5. Yeah, you can see it's 5. So just offering that up, to me that looks practically identical. It's difficult to see because of where my hand is holding this, I can't get it perfectly aligned, but actually it's not far off. I said it was identical, I'm not sure. But certainly very similar anyway. Okay, so quite a short video, first one back. Apologies, I know this isn't going to be kind of, I mean, I'm not really sure that I was ever actually, you know, that slick at kind of doing these, but I guess, you know, over a period of time I'd probably form some more good habits than bad. So we'll see how this goes when I've kind of edited it all out really. Difficult for me to kind of give anything beyond sort of first initial impressions as I've taken things out of the box. Good news is, as always, certainly my experience is whatever you order from Rotor, it turns up. You know, you're not kind of missing any nuts and bolts, which is probably bare minimum, but You know, it isn't always the case when you're ordering things online. So thumbs up in that sense. And also, probably just as a final point, I did order this direct from Rotor, so rotor.co.uk. I'm pretty sure it's still Velatech. I think they've probably just set a sort of Rotor specific website up. But I ordered this on a Friday. I didn't pay for Saturday delivery, but it was delivered first thing on Saturday morning. So very impressed with that. If you've any comments or questions, then please drop them in the section below. In reality, this is going to be fitted in around about a week's time, weather permitting. So I should probably say it's early February 2021. I might put this on the turbo just to see how it feels, but really it's probably going to be another month, 6 weeks at least before I go outside. And so much so, we're actually forecast heavy snow and pretty severe cold snap for the next couple of weeks. You can probably see my breath now, and the fact that I'm wearing a big thick coat and a hat tells you just how cold it is. But anyway, eventually I should be able to kind of give you sort of real world impressions of this. But in the meantime, as I say, drop me any comments or questions in the section below. Big thumbs up would be appreciated. Subscribe if you'd like to see more. And thank you very much for watching.